drilled this per the nut and washer.
Number 215.
I don't think it's gonna thread all the way. There's not enough thread.
Oh, it's all the wood? Well, if it can just stay in place with a screw, perpendicular.
1, 2, 3, 2, just after 2, 15. Awesome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's more like it. How are we doing today? Andy, can you hear me back there? Just fine? So nice day for something, huh? Yeah. What do you think? It's interesting. We've been unable to get that clock to work for the last 15 years. Decided to just tear the building down. Does that work for you, Aaron? Okay. My name's Tim Silva. I'm with North Star. And it's my pleasure to welcome you here this afternoon. It's interesting that this resort started with a vision, started with a master plan, and today we embark on, I think, a very, very significant step in completing that vision, completing the master plan for the resort. We started looking for a partner about 5 years ago to help us complete this vision. And after quite a search, we were very, very fortunate to find an outfit that shares many of the same values we do: commitment to the environment, involvement in the community in which we work. We found East-West Partners, and after about 5 years of first and foremost listening to our neighbors, listening to our guests, listening to our homeowners, I think we've come upon a plan, come upon a vision that's going to be very, very, very exciting for North Star. I would like to invite up Roger Lessman, our partner from East West, to say a few words about the resort. Roger?
Everybody. We've learned a lot through the process. As Tim had mentioned, we did a lot of work listening to North Star employees, homeowners, interested citizens in the area to try to come up with a plan that makes some sense and will help provide some renovation and some new thought and ideas here at North Star, and hopefully move us forward for the next 20 years or so. One of the other things that's unique about this village is that when we started out several years ago, we felt the sensitivity that a lot of the homeowners and citizens in the area felt to the environment. And so we wanted to do something with regards to all of our development here in the area to be sensitive to the kinds of things that provide for enjoyment in this area. I think a lot of you know that we're committed to do all of our commercial buildings in the U.S. Green Building Council LEEDS program. And one of the things that's unique about this village is that it will be the first campus collection of buildings that's been applied for by the U.S. Green Building Council. The whole series of 6 or actually 7 buildings, if you count some of this gear services space back underneath the slope, will be a part of the LEED program, and we're very, very proud of that. That's going to be I think, set a milestone and a bar for future development in resort environments. It's going to be very, very, very hard to match and exceed. We're very proud of that. The other thing, which is more important here today, is that this building, typically when you do a renovation, is you blow the thing up, or you tear it down and drive a bulldozer through it. We're not doing that. We're actually deconstructing the building. And it's going to take us a little longer. It's going to cost us a little more money than it would if we just plain tore it down. But the fact of the matter is, we feel it's important to recycle those components that are usable. So this building is going to be taken down piece by piece. Tim and his crew has already started. The guts are pretty well taken out of it, but the exterior building will start this week, and over a period of several weeks it'll be taken apart. So that's going to be very interesting. So with that in mind, let's start her bringing down, boys. To the new village of North Star. Here, cheers, everybody.
Slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free.
So each morning, Ryan and I are going to be walking the job site, addressing any specific safety hazards we feel we're going to encounter that day. We're going to be meeting with our crew chiefs prior to you guys showing up. At that point in time, we're going to address our safety hazards with them, as well as every other activity we're going to do that day, and that's going to be relayed to you. If you guys at any point in time see something that you feel is unsafe, stop what you're doing and let us know. Okay? Just because we're telling you what to do and working alongside of you doesn't mean we understand everything. Okay? So let us know. You guys remember the words from the eval training?
Communication.
More communication, better understanding, the more things we can get done.
In our business, a lot of people confuse reuse and recycling. Reuse is where we take a building element, be it a door, a window, a roofing panel, a 2x4, and we actually use it for that same purpose. So the 2x4 gets used as a framing member, the door gets used as a door, a toilet gets used as a toilet. That's what reuse is. In recycling, we're doing something like, on these windows, we have this aluminum framing left over, and that's going to get recycled. And what recycling in our business means is it's going to change form. So in a week or two, this will be a Chevy or a Coke can or something like that. So there's energy that has to be applied, and it's going to change form and come out as something else. Still better than throwing it away, but it's not quite as good as reuse. And our focus is on reuse, but ultimately we know that there will be some items that we have to recycle, like copper, aluminum, and steel. You can see it on the ground over there, the blue metal that comes from this facade and the rest of the roof. Okay. This is tremendous material. It is in excellent condition. So all this is going to get saved and reused, not recycled. That will get completely reused. And you can see it. So you see the way the stuff comes off. It was just screwed on, and you can see the thickness and the gauge of this. I mean, this is great in agricultural buildings or reused in another commercial building or something like that.
Is it all aluminum? Is that what that is?
No, it is. It's steel. It's just painted.
I'm Aaron Revere. I work for East West Partners. We are the developers for this North Star Village redevelopment project. I'm one of the project managers, but one of my main positions here is Director of Environmental Initiatives. I'm, in all intents and purposes, our green guy here with the company. So one of my first projects coming here was to help take a look at this clock tower building here that needed to be removed for the new village project that's going on here. And at first it was going to be demoed, just wrecking ball, ripped out and thrown away. And when we really took a look at the building, it's kind of a no-brainer to take it apart piece by piece, just like these guys are doing right here today. You look at the building, it's bolted together and it's got a lot of valuable materials.
Really the main goal of this is just to show people that just because something isn't new doesn't mean it doesn't have any potential for use. Things like toilets, light fixtures, sinks. As far as their water usage, the gallons per flush might be a little higher than the new low flush toilets. However, it's still something that can save people a considerable amount of money. $50.
One of the aspects that makes our business a little more difficult is that we're more expensive in deconstruction than it is with demolition. First of all, as a time standpoint, we take about 10 times longer. The cost will range anywhere between 25% to 50% more to deconstruct a building than it will to demo or demolish a building with heavy equipment. So what we've done to help offset that is when the reuse people first started, we also set ourselves up as a nonprofit organization so that when we do take a building down, the building elements that we do salvage for reuse are a tax donation to the owner of the structure. And that tax donation then helps offset the difference in our cost. That's what makes us competitive.
The goal of this project is to get this structural lumber, these 4x12s. We're going to cut with a circular saw through the layer of OSB that's on top of the 2x6 decking, and through that 2x6 decking right along this 4x12 and right along this 4x12, and then also in between these two glue lambs, which on the inside is going to consist of unbolting at the columns and ripping on the rooftop at that 16x16 square.
My name is Ryan Borman. I'm the site superintendent. I'm here to salvage as much material from this building as possible in a dismantling process as opposed to a standard demolition. I'm primarily a designer and a builder, and I prefer to build out of reused materials just to divert as much stuff out of landfills as possible, and usually get quite a bit of character out of reclaimed building materials as well. Kind of feel bad for these guys. It's been raining in here all day because we got about 4 inches of snow last night. There's not a whole lot of roof left up there, so it's just letting everything rain down in on them. Hopefully we can keep them a little more dry tomorrow. Got Jose La Cruz right here. He's our crew chief, one of our crew chiefs.
We weren't going to save this, were we?
No, he's dead. He was already beat up. I think the screws are stripped, so you're good. We actually are trying to hold on to a lot of these studs right here just so we can build some crates out of them and haul a lot of the bolts and joist hangers from the beams. All the concrete will be ground up, not by us, but by the second subcontractor that's coming in. So that's at least a 50% recycle right there. We're hoping that with the sheet metal, the recycling of the ferrous metals, and all the beams, we can get to like a 75 to 85% recycle rate. Can't go through here because that's a danger zone. You got guys working overhead, so we'll go ahead and try to back up. And so really what I do is I just kind of walk around all day, get my hands dirty here and there, but I just kind of make sure that everybody's doing what they need to be doing, communicate with the crew chiefs, make sure they're on all their activities, and try to keep them busy.
All right.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to start raining. That snow's melting up there. There's about 4 inches, so.
Guys think you can get it? That's what he's gonna. What are you guys gonna do with it?
I guess we're gonna reuse it. I don't know if they're gonna reuse it in the tent, the temporary tent, or in another building. But
These guys are gonna pull down the HVAC unit They're setting up some temporary tents to fill in for what this space was accommodating them for, ticket sales, ski rental, demo shop, all that kind of stuff. That'll be somewhere out there over by the gondola. Normally it'd be something that we would take down if we were to take possession of it and then resell it. But since these guys want it, we're having them get it. Just mostly because we got our guys doing other things. Dumpsters can hold about 5 tons or 30 cubic yards. If we end up filling a dumpster that's too heavy, we get charged additional. We also want to make sure that we optimize our dumpster because we're getting charged that same flat rate for the amount we put into it, okay? So with that in mind, being that this dumpster is pretty heavy already, we're only going to fill it up to this line right here. What we're doing is we're cutting up the bays on the roof into 16-foot sections and then looping the crane shackles around that and picking them up and dropping them down here on the ground. You can see a large pile right here. And then from there, we hand strip all the remaining decking right here on the ground where it's safe for all the guys to be doing that. And then pull all the nails from the joist hangers, lift up all the joists, set them up onto the gradalls, load them onto the North Star truck, and then take all the girders, get them on a TRP truck, and ship them down to Alameda. Okay, so you can see here there's a grid of columns kind of remaining here. And so you can tell exactly where each one of those 16-foot sections was cut and lifted out. You can look down here where Jose and Thomas are working. It's actually cut up into grids, and then you have these holes above the larger beams, and those are where you loop your rigging for the crane. And so you loop around the beams, pick it right up, set it down over there where the guys strip them and break them down. The entire place should look just like those columns. Those ones didn't have floor plates connected at the middle of the column like the rest of them do. But once we pull these floor bays out, just like we're doing with these roof bays, this entire place is going to look nothing but those things, a forest of 2-foot diameter concrete columns. To be up here, if you're not roped off, you need to stay 6 feet away from any leading edge of demolition, okay? Okay, so what we have here is there's a retaining wall right here at this yellow line. And on this side of the retaining wall, it's actually a wood structure with concrete on top of it. On this side of the line, it's actually just fill. And so the engineer and the engineer demolition plan specifically requested that the outriggers, which is what this thing is here, which is taking the weight of the crane, be placed directly on this wall or behind the wall. So what we're doing is have this one behind the wall, and then this one down here is actually going to be resting directly on top of the retaining wall, eliminating any surcharge load being pushed on the backside of that retaining wall, as well as any weight being put on the structure on this side of the wall. Because underneath here is actually wooden beams.
dead center of each one of these bays. So 1 point there, 1 point there. I know these guys are on it, man. Making quick work of that shit. I wasn't even anticipating that shit. Okay, Rick, let's go ahead and tug this thing, see how it goes. Yeah, get out of there, guys. Get down and get out of there. Ready? Yeah, good. Good. Can you see Rick? Come on this way, Rick. Yeah!
I'm with EDA, and we are an environmental consulting firm. I have been doing environmental consulting and construction monitoring for over 5 years. What my job as a water quality monitor is just to make sure that the pollution doesn't get into the water. And here on this site, we actually have all of this drainage goes directly into Martis Creek. So anything that you see water in, we consider a natural resource. So for instance, with these check dams, that's called a BMP, or best management practice. There are several on the project that we're trying to implement. One of them happens to be a check dam, which is what we talked about, but there are also so many others, talking about anything from pine needle rolls to hay bales in some cases, and stockpile management, hazardous waste management, and those sorts of things. And basically it's just to make sure that all the water in those streams and creeks stays very clean. Sediment is our #1 pollutant, but we also have other things such as the insulation foam that was coming down here from the deconstruction, and all kinds of other non-visible pollutants like petroleum products, things like that. So these BMPs are put into place to protect all the water quality.
You know, as the Director of Environmental Initiatives, one of the things that we're trying to instill in this, in our company and the things that we're creating out here is to eliminate the concept of waste. There really is no place on any map called away, and so we don't want to send anything to landfills. Now that rolls into the green building programs that we're in, LEED, but it's just, you know, it just makes sense no matter what kind of program you're in. And so when you take a look at this building, you see all the value in it. We realized we can do just that, take it apart piece by piece. And it's been, for me, getting started with this was about a 1.5 year process. And that's because I happened to be at a conference one day and a guy was giving a presentation on deconstruction and promoting how good it is across the country. Well, we talked with a lot of those guys and some of his colleagues. They came and helped us take a look at the building and what can we do and can we do it, and it worked out that we could. It made sense. Those guys, you know, unfortunately couldn't stay on to do the work. They were kind of all across the country, Portland, DC, Montana, Boulder, Colorado. but they helped me get in touch with Ted Reif and the reuse people who are actually doing the work now. And it's been a great process. All along the way, we've been trying to find local people who are interested in the building, whether it's schools, whether it's the town. We've talked to local Boy Scout groups, community colleges. We've come up with ideas to actually take this building, a nearly 20,000 square foot building, and just kind of look at it as a bucket of Legos, a kit of parts. It's in this kind of pentagon shape here, but we could have put it together. We actually did a design for the town of Truckee on a lot that they have, redesigned it using these buildings pieces that was more just a rectangle. You could put it back together in any shape you wanted. And what was really cool about that, although it hasn't worked out, it let us all learn the value that a system is worth more than the sum of its parts. And that would have been a building considered as a system if we could have put that back together. But the difficult piece with that is you have to find someone with land and who's ready to build something right now to take a building versus just giving it to them and stockpiling it somewhere. So that didn't work out, but we have lots of interest in reusing the building parts here. A lot of this wood's going to be reused on a day lodge here at the resort. We're going to redeck a lodge up there with pretty much all of the big timbers, one size of big timbers in this building. We're going to put in some sidewalk in downtown Truckee with pavers. We're looking at redoing a section at the school football stadium. Their visitor side of the field is not very inviting for visitors, so we're going to look at paving some of that element. We've got several architects in town who either their own projects or have clients who are interested in some of these wood components. We had a fire department call us. They have an addition. They may be interested in windows and some of the toilet fixtures and in lumber as well. So it's been a really fun process.
Well, I'm buying some 2x6s and I'm buying some 4x12s. Some pressure treated, not too much pressure treated. I have a project up on the border between Oregon border and Cedarville. It's a mountain retreat type of area, and I intend to do some building up there, and this wood will come in handy. I hope to build some decks, build some shelters for my equipment, and build some shelters for my water supply tanks, and various other type of projects. So this is an opportunity for me to buy something a bit under market and still at the same time do my part to reduce the use of some of the products that the environmental concerns have for using too much timber, etc.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is actually North Star coming to collect on the very beginning of the beams coming off of this roof right here. They're actually going to be reusing just about all of the 4x12s from the roof structure for the lodge at Big Springs, which is one of their mid-mountain lodges. Excuse my radio here. So he's going to go ahead and load this flatbed up and actually start driving them up to mid-mountain right now. And we should probably see them installed here in the next couple months.
Okay, my name is Gary Morgan, native of New Zealand. I moved to California, actually came here to visit about 18 years ago when this building was 1 year old. So, you know, I've seen lots of activity happened in this building and around this building over the years. I spent many years on the mountain in the operations department, and most recently I moved down here and I oversee the area services. So my main job here is to kind of coordinate with all the vendors and subcontractors and the general contractor, and hopefully make sure we're all on the same page. So it's pretty exciting these times. We've been planning for this for about 3 or 4 years now, and we're finally seeing some progress here. This building, we're trying to recycle a lot of it. The pavers, we're pulling them up by hand and stacking them, hope to reuse them again. A lot of the plants that were through the village, the aspen trees, the pear trees, we have pulled them out and relocated them, so we're trying to recycle as much as possible. I think that's the future here. The plans for this site here is to build lower level will be commercial with underground parking, and condos, single ownership condos on the upper levels. I guess level 2 through 5, I think there is. It's going to be 100 units in this first phase, and then from there it expands into phase 2 and 3, and that's it.